First rule of Switch Sports Club, don't talk about Switch Sports Club. Hello my dears, Hero here, and my challenge today is to talk about Nintendo Switch Sports without actually telling you about the game. Let me explain. So this weekend, the weekend of February 18th, 19th, and 20th, Nintendo launched a live playtest of Nintendo Switch Sports online. At designated times, you could register to play the game early and basically help Nintendo playtest the game, hence it being called the playtest. Now, this was very exciting, and myself, as I'm sure a lot of content creators, were really excited to make videos about this playtest and what we thought about the game in its early stages. Then comes the twist when Nintendo, on the page where you go to register for the playtest, you go to register and you're given a download code to redeem in the eShop, and then you were able to go in and download a demo version in which you can play Switch Sports at the specific times they laid out. I'm showing that on the screen here. We'll get to the times the playtests happen later. But the first weird thing is at the bottom of the page, there's a little thing, blurb, saying something to the effect of you can't share any footage, and not only that, no footage, no opinions on the game. You have to be radio silence on this thing. And that to me just is so backwards. It's so emblematic of Nintendo being in their own world. We all know that Japan and copyright law is much stricter than the US and copyright law. And so it's always weird on YouTube talking about Nintendo stuff or anime and having Japanese companies come after small YouTubers for giving them free publicity, basically. It's always extremely frustrating. And this is just another, why? Why would you not allow people to talk about your game or show anything about your game? It's so silly. It's so silly, especially since you can still screen capture in here. A lot of demos, Nintendo will disable your screenshot or your video function or both. And you can do both here. People were posting videos and screen caps from the game immediately on Twitter. And Nintendo said you can't post anything anywhere. That includes your socials. If that's a thing that makes you nervous, take down any posts you've done so far from your playtest. But a lot of people are in the camp of, I don't give a shit, give the middle finger to Nintendo. Because of that, there is still footage floating around of the game, even though Nintendo said don't do it. Many people are doing it anyway, talking about their thoughts on the game. And then myself, I'm actually making two videos. This one where I talk very generically about this weird state of how we're allowed to talk about the game. This is the video that plays it safe. And then up here in the link, a partner video to this video will be coming out where I post my own gameplay, my own live reactions to the footage. I was debating if I actually wanted to go this route, if I wanted to take that risk, if I could get DMCA'd now or in the future. I'm currently a small channel, so part of me is thinking I might as well. I hope it doesn't kill my career in the water. If it does though, that's why I got the two videos. If Nintendo decides to take serious action against posting gameplay for the game, then I can always take that one down and leave this one up. I will talk a little bit about it, but in very vague terms to still keep this video safe. I at least want one thing to remain up if Nintendo actually decides to get serious about enforcing the don't post footage about the playtest. But my question is, how are they going to enforce that? Literally already there's stuff posted. People have streamed the playtest. It's said and done, Nintendo. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you could ever do from stopping people. And so I'm wondering, is it really a hardcore warning? I'm a little nervous, obviously, because I'm making two videos about it to save my butt if the other one I make showing the gameplay gets fire and I'm not able to keep that up. What realistically would happen? What could Nintendo do to me that, I only have 71 subscribers, comment, subscribe, and 72 followers on Twitter. Anything I post isn't getting to that many people. Maybe these will blow up. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's still free publicity. It's confusing. I have no idea how Nintendo plans to enforce not being able to show footage of their game, because they're already doing a horrible job. There's already plenty of footage out there. beyond mine that came out before mine, and I posted this fairly early. The other part of me wonders, is it reverse psychology? Did they say don't talk about the game to fuel more talk about the game, to create more discourse around it? It's a weird theory. Not sure if that's what the play is, but I mean, my reasoning for thinking that is because they didn't disable the screenshot feature. So like any Joe Schmo can post about the game, and Nintendo's like openly inviting their fans to get sued by them at that point, if that's the case. If they say don't talk about the game but still leave the means to talk about the game to every single one of their players who signed up. You know, you see where it's silly? Anyone who has their Twitter connected to the Nintendo Switch and decided to maybe post that stuff, like anyone can do that. And Nintendo is seriously threatening them right now? Are you kidding me? Yeah, right. I'm gonna say that both of my videos will be able to stay up. We're gonna be optimistic. But now let's talk about the other weird thing about the playtest, which was the timing of it. There's 3 times that the Switch playtest went live, and there was one early afternoon one that happened for all time zones, so that's pretty good. But the other playtests, man, 10 at night or 6 in the morning, the absolute fringes of the day. I rushed to make my recording happen, so forgot about the playtest happening. Didn't check out any of them on Friday, which is probably fine because I heard a lot of the early playtests that happened on the 18th. There was a lot of crashing, which makes sense. And maybe Nintendo was afraid of like bad PR coming out about that, about the game being buggy, glitchy, but literally it's a playtest. That's to be expected. So, but that was not promising day one, but you know, you're doing this to work out the kinks. And by the time I got on for Saturday and then Sunday morning, this morning, it worked just fine. I had all my games load up just fine. I had 0 crashes, connected to my LAN. Everything worked great. But yeah, I work at a restaurant and I work dinner, so I was rushing home to make the playtest Saturday night, because I knew my only other chance to play it would be this morning at the butt crack of dawn. I ended up doing both. I came home kinda on the wire. I made it home around 10:20. So I got to play 1 round of Chambara and 1 round of bowling before I was booted. And then the other sport, there were 3 sports you could play in the playtest. The other one was tennis. I got to play plenty of that this morning when I woke up super early. But yeah, having to like rush home from my job where I get out late to make the playtest, and or having to wake up super early, not super great for me. I think those playtest times are kind of whack, to be honest, but it's a global playtest, so they probably set it to like more convenient times in Japan than in North America, which I guess I can't fault them too much. I know the early morning time slot, the 6 a.m. time slot for me on the East Coast was like a 3 a.m. time slot for the West Coast, so shout out to y'all that were dedicated enough to get up at 3 a.m. to play Nintendo Switch Sports. My god. So yeah, this thing's weird. Now, what did I actually think of the game? I will once again refer you to my other video where I actually play the game and I break it down a little bit after I finish playing. But if I can talk about it in the vaguest of terms, we'll actually talk about the aesthetic here. Because in a previous video on my channel, I reacted to the February Nintendo Direct where this game was initially announced. There's these weird kind of custom characters next to the Mii's. What's that all about? Why would you introduce other avatar looking things? You already got your Mii's. And why would you have them both in the same confusion? Yeah, look at that. Like, what is that? Mii's don't look like that. This bothers me, actually. What's up with the people? And in my initial reaction, the first thing that stuck out to me was 1, yay, we're finally getting a Wii Sports follow-up, Wii Sports 4. And now the game has characters that are not Mii's included. There's these weird kind of Bitmoji looking people that you can now play as. And you know, or even, they're more Memoji than Bitmoji because of the... But anyway, at first they just looked weird to me because they weren't the Mii's. And they just have this kind of clean, new age design that I'm not crazy about. But I will say, after playing the game, all the areas look really good. The characters fit right in with the aesthetic of this world. It was a little jarring to me not having the Miis, but I think both characters will be able to exist in this game. It looks like from the trailer, not from what I played. There was no sign of Miis in my playthrough. Is that saying too much? What I'm trying to say is the avatars look really good. You get used to it. The characters' designs grow on you, and it does work for the overall aesthetic of this game, and overall all the areas look really great. I will also say the 22 minutes of playtesting that I did Saturday night left me wanting more. By the end of my 45-minute playtest this morning, I was getting a little fatigued of the 3 modes. There will be 3 more modes that come with the game at launch, and they'll also be releasing more sports kind of throughout the life cycle of this game. We have golf confirmed for the fall time. But fall is a long time away from April, so who's to say how fast these other sports will be joining the game, what the rollout of that will look like. My point here is 45 minutes felt like I had enough of the 3 modes available, and we have 7 we can expect. $40 game. So I think it's a good time. I think it'll still be a good time with friends. I think it'll be a good time online. But, that's something to consider if you want to buy this game is there enough content there for you for $40? Will the 7 promised games be enough? Because, yeah, I had my fill. Bowling was the most fun, but even that I had my fill after about 3 rounds of that. So it's like Wii Sports, and that'll be best in short bursts. The game still has potential to have longevity in playthrough. I just don't necessarily seeing it being one of my games with the most hours sunk into it. That is all I'll say. If you want to know about how the game controls and my thoughts on all that stuff, check out the other video I've plugged a couple times. And subscribe to the channel. We'll continue to keep you updated on Switch Sports. It's exciting that we're getting this game in April, no less. I am a big Nintendo guy, so we'll be keeping you posted on a lot of the big video games that come out this year. Thank y'all for watching my video. Did you play the Nintendo Switch Sports playtest? What did you think of the gameplay? Or so be as vague about it as possible, I guess. You don't want Papa Nintendo coming after you. But what did you think of the game? I like it so far. Ooh. I hope I didn't say too much. Ooh. And also let me know what you think about Nintendo trying to police talk of their games. Do you think this is not that big a deal? They're not going to do anything about it? Or should people be kind of nervous to post about this game? I think they're being silly. I think Nintendo's being a big silly. But, talk about it down below. I think this is a weird thing. Definitely am interested in your thoughts. Okay, that's enough from me. Have a good one, guys.